Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and another video here on Pitch Side Podcast. It's December, it's the transfer window coming close really, and one of the stories that started creeping now as far as the transfer window is concerned is one big story, I would say, if it is true and if it has any truth to it. And personally, as a Bayern Munich fan, I would like to believe that it would be good for the club if it happens. It is the, let's say, potential double swoop for both Eduardo Camavinga, the Rennes midfielder, the 19-year-old Rennes midfielder, or 17 actually midfielder, and the Frenkie De Jong, Barcelona's midfielder. From the other hand, it is maybe one, maybe both of them will be coming to Bayern potentially in January, depending on the situation. But if this story is true, even if it is true, there's loads of questions that should be asked, I think, surrounding this story. The first question is, obviously, whether Bayern need, one or both these players. Do Bayern need Camavinga? Do Bayern need De Jong? Or Bayern do need both? As far as this question is concerned, I think the question is, the answer, is yes. Bayern need either one or both of them, if they can do it, because if you look back and take your mind back to the last season, to the fact that Bayern, when they won the Champions League, they didn't win it by having only Kimmich and Goretzka in the midfield. They won it by having Coutinho on the substitute bench. They won it by having Thiago on the substitute bench, by having more quality players to themselves that they could use and rely upon to change situation and to rotate the squad and keep themselves really fresh and well fit. In my opinion, if this deal comes through for either one of them, it's going to be huge for Bayern on both levels. For Camavinga, it's going to be one of the best prospects in the world, and swooping him for, I don't think, a high price, considering, yes, he's highly rated and maybe his price would be a little bit bloated by Rennes, but certainly you won't have him at say the 150 or 60 that Coutinho went with the Barcelona, or the 222 that Neymar went with the PSG. That probably would be unmatched for quite a while. Maybe it will be surpassed one day. For Camavinga, it's a young prospect. Recently made his French international debut back in October, and he's doing really, really well in Rennes, being one of their best players, and their best player, quite frankly. That's why he's that highly rated. He had a great season with Rennes last season, incredible on the ball, one of the one of the players with the most tackling stats, so that you need that in a midfielder. That is going to be a coup, and that will ensure probably that you will have a healthy and strong midfield with Kimmich and Goretzka, and whoever's going to be coming in the next couple of years to continue the domination, maybe usher in an era for Bayern Munich where you can dominate the Champions League instead of only dominating the Bundesliga, which is the ultimate aim for a club like Bayern. On the other, side of the coin, Frenkie De Jong is a scoop because he's not doing that good at Barcelona. He's not being the best version of himself at Barcelona at the moment, and I know he's shown glimpses there. We cannot consider him a young player anymore. We cannot consider him as a wonder kid or a prospect anymore. He passed that point now. He is now on the stage of his career where he is reaching the peak, reaching the prime of his career, and it is going to be so sad to see a player like Frenkie De Jong, with the potential that he has, being wasted with Barcelona in their worst years so far, since the Cruyff era, since the Tiki-Taka era, the whole La Masia, golden generation started. This is the worst Barcelona have looked. So if you're taking De Jong into consideration, you probably think this is a good deal for Bayern, because you're getting a player that is nearing, sort of decline of some sort, really. Barcelona's midfield is a whole mess. They cannot really sort themselves out. They still rely on Busquets in his role, which is supposed to be his role, supposed to be De Jong's role to be in the place of Busquets, but somehow it is Busquets who's doing that still for Barcelona at 35-something years of age, for a guy who's not really looking good in the last 3 seasons, the last 3 years or so. So from Frenkie De Jong point of view, it's going to be a good deal getting another player that almost going to be losing his potential, and he's going to be really put on the sidelines, and maybe is going to be underrated for quite a while. You put him and you take him with a team that is good, that is going to provide him with the support, that is going to give him the platform to have his best potential, play him at his best position. I don't know. I mean, is he going to be better than Kimmich? Is he going to take over Kimmich in central midfield position? I reckon not. I mean, if you put him in trio alongside Kimmich and Goretzka, you're depriving yourself from a proper number 10. But again, Kimmich can still do that. Goretzka could still do that. Goretzka likes to be offensive, so I think automatically he might be slotted in that position. In later years, of course, because you still have, Muller as someone who plays under Robert Lewandowski forward. For Frenkie De Jong, it will be a great deal. It would be an amazing deal if Bayern get Frenkie De Jong on his own. If they get him and they get Eduardo Camavinga, and they linked with quite a number of other players as well. They linked with Upamecano in Leipzig, of course. They are first in the race to get Upamecano's signing. So that will be quite the deal. It would be probably the scoop of the season, I would say, if they get Frenkie De Jong and Camavinga to the club. Overall, I can see that. I can see why people and Bayern fans should be excited about this deal, but there's another question that comes with: do Bayern need Frenkie De Jong and/or Camavinga? Is whether Bayern can actually afford Camavinga and/or De Jong, because pandemic and COVID-19 has been hard on everyone, and hard on almost every single club in Europe who took the fall and took the repercussions of pandemic, and no fans, and no proper football, no proper income, no proper revenue. Even TV broadcasters couldn't really give them the good fair share of revenue they were expecting. Numbers have been falling down for them, so it's easy to expect Bayern not affording the price that De Jong and Camavinga would probably demand. But also, you look at Barcelona, they are in quite a fallible financial situation. They cannot sort themselves out. They are threatened to announce and to declare bankrupt in January if they don't sort the negotiation about the salaries and about the wages out. So Bayern can take this as an advantage, can take this as a big chance to sign Frenkie De Jong from them, one of the least quality players that Barcelona can actually promote and can actually, try and sell if they want to solve their financial problems. And I don't think, if they do, I don't think they're going to get more than 50, maybe 60 million euros for De Jong, which is a fair price for all his talent that he has, and maybe quite under the tag that he needs. I mean, he was brought for Barcelona for less than that, really. So, as far as Camavinga is concerned, the financial situation is going to be quite hard, because Camavinga is still, blossoming and still probably in his, debut stage, sort of, showing himself to the world and putting himself on the map and trying to prove his place in the market. So Bayern may not want to go hard with the price tag on Camavinga. So I'm assuming the most suitable option would be going to Frenkie De Jong. I think he's going to be more affordable as a price, and maybe he will be better suited because he already have the big experience in the in playing with a big team in the Champions League, and being, of course, an Ajax graduate, which has always worked well in relation with Bayern Munich in the past. So overall, I think the last thing I would want to say is, if one of those deals happen, it's going to be big. If both those deals happen, that is going to be a steal. That is going to be the scoop of the season, hands down, one of the biggest probably scoops in history of football. If you get young prospect in Eduardo Camavinga, who's 17 years old, who's still learning the trade and is really good at it, and you get also Frenkie De Jong, who's an already experienced player and a quality player, and I don't know, maybe you get them for the price of a one. Maybe you get a double deal for something less than 100 million euros altogether. Although, again, I want to stress that Camavinga might want a price tag, Ren might put a price tag on Camavinga that is way more than expected. Anyway, that was my whole, I think, opinion about this rumored deal. At the moment, there's no truth to it. It's still a rumor. Who knows if it's gonna go through or not. In the end, comment what you think of this deal. If it's going through, what is going to be the effects of it on Bayern Munich, on the transfer market as a whole, really, if it's gonna happen. Share and subscribe, of course, to the channel to receive more updates and reactions like this. And follow us on social media, SidePSP on Twitter, PitchSidePod on Instagram. Listen to the podcast every day on Spotify, Google Podcast, or any other listening platform. Until then, I was your boy, the HOD from the PSP, and I'll see you soon.